Without time-bound, legally binding actions to reduce fishing pressure, we have little faith that these fisheries management plans will actually deliver an end to overfishing.
Hello and welcome to the Ocean News podcast, an audio series in which we take a deeper dive into the most important stories and biggest headlines from the Oceanographic newsroom. I'm Eva Cahill, the editorial assistant here at Oceanographic, and in today's episode we're looking at the UK government's fisheries consultation, how effective it could be at protecting our seas, and what consequences it might have for marine ecosystems and coastal communities. Today, the UK Government's Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, or DEFRA, announced that it would be launching a 12-week consultation to create 4 new fishery management plans. These plans are intended to guide how specific fish stocks are managed, from catch limits and monitoring to recovery measures, and will influence government decisions for years to come. DEFRA says the plans aim to secure the long-term sustainability of vital fish stocks off the British coast, while ensuring the long-term prosperity of the fishing industry and the coastal communities that depend on healthy seas. The proposals cover economically significant species like sea bass and wrasse, as well as demersal and pelagic species in the Celtic Sea and Western Channel. They include commitments to develop recovery plans for vulnerable stocks, build an evidence base for so-called data-poor fisheries, and improve data collection and monitoring. But environmental organisations are far less confident in the government's ability to deliver the kind of decisive action needed to restore Britain's overfished waters. And they argue that without firm targets, these plans will provide no meaningful progress. Alec Taylor, Director of Policy and Research at Oceana, has said,
At the moment, these fisheries management plans risk just being plans to make plans and have little recognition about the dire state of UK seas. We really need these plans to have proper, time-bound actions to rebuild stocks, otherwise they won't be worth the paper they're written on.
A clear example of this can be seen in the 2020 Fisheries Act, which introduced a legal requirement for the government to restore fish stocks, but it failed to set a target year for this to be achieved by. Data released under transparency requirements in the Act also suggest the government's approach has been lax. In 2024 and 2025, 52% of catch limits were set above the scientific advice provided by the International Council for the Exploration of the Sea. And despite repeated promises to deliver for coastal communities, historic precedent tells a very different story. In 2023, the UK had 5,418 registered fishing vessels, and almost 80% of them were under 10 metres in length. Yet, the majority of fishing opportunity continues to flow to large-scale industrial operations, many of which rely on highly destructive methods such as bottom trawling. In the Celtic Seas, for instance, more than 80% of muddy and sandy seabed is estimated to show signs of physical disturbance. Meanwhile, the ICES has recommended zero catch for species such as Celtic sea cod and Irish sea sole, both of which are experiencing recruitment failure, where too few young fish survive to adulthood. From Oceana, added in reflection.
As the environmental reports behind these fisheries management plans show, the Celtic Seas are some of the most degraded parts of UK waters, yet we see no actual action within these plans to limit the destruction by bottom-towed gear. And ultimately, we don't have confidence in their success at the moment.
In a government statement, Fisheries Minister Dame Angela Eagle sounded a different tune. She said, "The UK has some of the best wild seafood in the world, and fisheries management plans are vital for securing its long-term sustainability so that our fishing industry continues to prosper." Dame Eagle also urged people to have their say in DEFRA's consultation, saying, "The fishing industry and wider stakeholders have already been involved in shaping these plans, but I urge all interested parties to respond to our consultations to help chart the course for the future." The consultation will run until the 5th of May 2026. From there, the government will decide whether and how these proposals are translated into binding management measures. But campaigners like Taylor hold out little hope for the potential effectiveness of these plans.
Without time-bound, legally binding actions to reduce fishing pressure, we have little faith that these fisheries management plans will actually deliver an end to overfishing.
If you would like to learn more about this story or other stories following developments in the fishing industry, subscribe to this podcast or head to the Oceanographic newsroom. This has been the Ocean News podcast. I've been Eva Cahill. Thank you for listening.